Now, since it is an accounting subject, maybe IS, IFRS, Ind AS, whatever, in accounts, what is the ultimate outcome? Ultimate outcome of understanding financial accounting is PL account, balance sheet, cash flow statement, notes to accounts. If you are talking to an individual, you want to analyze his financial strength, you need to look at his balance sheet, PL account, cash flow statement and all that. If I want to analyze the health of an organization, a company, listed, private, anybody, somebody want to analyze the health of Saraf Academy, like CIMA Institute, ACCA Institute, we are the learning partner. Every year we need to submit our financials to them. What is the growth in sales? What is the growth in assets? This, that. The health of an organization, like my health depends upon my blood pressure, this, that and all that. Similarly, the health of an organization can be understood by looking at their financials. PL account, balance sheet, cash flow, notes to accounts. And each topic, every entire syllabus is revolving around PL account, balance sheet, cash flow, notes to accounts. So first of all, maybe somebody has good sound understanding of the format. First of all, in the first class, in 10 minutes, that format need to be understood. That how the format is presented, what is first, what is next, why the format structure is like this, some of the basic things relating to the format. So first of all, I am discussing that. Now that format is not written in the SBR material because they are thinking that strategic business reporting students already know the format. But that format is written in, what I can say, in Google or in study text of IFRS. Or it is written in F2 also. There is a topic named as Presentation of Published Financial Statements. This is BPP Deep IFRS book, page 283. Around 300. IAS 1, International Accounting Standard 1, explains the format or gives the format of preparing PL account, balance sheet, cash flow statement, statement of changes in equity, and notes to accounts. This is just an example of balance sheet format. Balance sheet in IFRS cannot be said as balance sheet. In India, in AS, we can say balance sheet. In US GAAP, we can say balance sheet. Terminology, I am saying, technical word. But in IFRS, they are using the word for balance sheet statement of financial position. In US GAAP and Indian accounting, we can say statement of financial position. But in Indian accounting and US GAAP, we can say balance sheet also. But in IFRS, we can't use the word balance sheet. It has to be said statement of financial position. Always the assets and liability position are given on a single day. On one particular day, suppose today 14th March. Tomorrow the assets liability value will change. Some more purchases, some cash sale, this, that. So balance sheet is always on particular day. Every organization has one year ending. The year ending date is generally December or March. It is 31st December year ending financial position. We should be writing first of all non-current assets. Then current assets. That is called total assets. What is non-current assets? Which will be there in the business for more than 1 year. For non-current assets, there are around 10 to 12 IS, IFRS are there. We need to study all those IS, IFRS. Then we will be able to understand this entire non-current assets. But in a simple language, non-current asset is any asset which is going to be used in the business for a long time. Suppose presently when I am sitting here, my computer, laptop, camera, building, furniture, this, that, I am already using for 3-4 years these things. And I will be using in future also. So they are all non-current assets for Saraf Gurukul, Saraf Academy. Saraf Academy ke liye all these are non-current assets. Non-current, they will not be giving cash flow income in 1 year. They will be giving cash flows incomes in years. For that reason, they are called non-current assets. Earlier, even I studied 20 years back fixed assets. But everywhere, US GAAP, IFRS, Indian accounting, we say not fixed assets, we say non-current assets. And then the current assets, which are going to materialize, give the cash flow within 1 year. Cash is already cash, but bank balance, inventory, receivables, anything which is going to materialize into cash within 1 year, that is said as a current assets. Now normally the language is not 1 year. If you go in technical language, it is not 1 year. It is normal business cycle. There may be a business where the business cycle is 1.5 years. So something is going to materialize within 1.5 years will become current assets. Because accounting does not say 1 year. Accounting says in the normal business cycle. Normally the business cycle is 1 year, only less than 1 year. But if some businesses, the business cycle is greater than 1 year, then the current assets will include those assets also which are going to materialize beyond 1 year. Can anybody give example where the inventory receivable give money beyond 1 year? I sold goods today and I will be collecting money from the customers after 1.5 years. Any business where this happens generally? Any practical example anybody can give? Real estate. Because in the real estate, if you are selling land, construction, a building, this, that, it happens that the money will be received from the customers later. Then you will be writing under current assets, not non-current, even though it is going to be received beyond 1 year. Normally the examples are less, but at least one example, real estate, we can give. This is total assets. Then in the liabilities, now there is order for property, plant, goodwill, this, that. But ये order, practical life भी याद नहीं करना, and in exam also. Because in exam, if they have given you balance sheet, they are asking consolidated balance sheet. In the balance sheet already the orders are given. You will follow the same order. In practical life, we already have the designed format in Excel and we do. But just that एक बार ध्यान दे लेना चाहिए. In this non-current assets, any item which you are not getting anything, property, plant and equipment, goodwill, other intangible assets, investment in associate, investment in equity instruments. Can anybody give example of other intangible assets? Anybody? You can say patent, trademark, copyrights, technical know-how, logo, branding, anything. Now whether they can be recorded as an asset or not, I have not taught. We will discuss IAS 36, 38, many IAS are there. So मैं उसमें नहीं जा रहा हूं, I am just focusing on just that during the class, if you keep yourself mute, then when you will be getting the recordings, the voice quality will be very good. But if you are unmuting yourself and you don't have to say anything, then in that case quality will be bad. You can't question me. Sir, ठीक से नहीं सुन रहा है. Because why I said instructions, live class instructions to all of you, 3 times I mailed. In the class, students will be muted. Students don't need to start their video because disturbance will come. If you want to say anything, you can unmute yourself. Otherwise, आपको voice clarity अच्छी नहीं लगेगी. And I am using a separate software where the quality of the voice will be very good. Just one day back, I found problem in the software. Then I recorded the class through the Zoom. That quality is not good. So for that reason, you keep all yourself mute. If you want to say anything, you can unmute yourself anytime. But आप अपने आप को mute रखिए, जिससे voice clarity, voice quality will be good in recording. Okay? Just now, investment in associate. Anybody know what is investment in associate? It's very technical. But as any general knowledge, anybody has?
Any subsidiary, if any holding company invested in their subsidiary company for the purpose of increasing the business or market capturing, then it is called the investment in business.
No, parent subsidiary is not associate. If we invest in another company as a controlling stake, that means whatever in the other company will be done will be decided by us. Then in that case, it is a subsidiary. That is written as investment in subsidiary or investment. Associate means you don't have control over other company, but you are going to significantly influence the business of the other company. Suppose I have Reliance Industries 50 shares. In the Reliance Industries, actually I have 50 shares. Actually I am saying fact. So if I have 50 shares of Reliance Industries, can I control the business of Reliance? No. But suppose there is a bank or financial institution invested in the Reliance Industries, say 15% shares of Reliance Industries. Can they control? They can't control. But what a money will do? but they will be able to significantly influence. So if you have invested in a company where the investment is significant, which will be giving you the power to significantly influence the business of the other company, then that investment is called investment in associate. Now since Suman, you were saying, आपके एग्जाम में, सीमा केस स्टडी एग्जाम में, investment in associate, investment in subsidiary, the group accounting is 90% chance that it will be coming in the exam. और हर स्टूडेंट को प्रॉब्लम होती है उसका आंसर लिखने में, सबको A to Z. For that reason I am taking these classes. कि that problem should not arise while writing the answers of the case study, because that is not practical, that you need to becoming slightly technically better. No issue. Investment in equity instruments. अब ये भी investment, if investment is like Reliance Industries 50 shares, this is investment in equity instrument. If Saraf Academy has invested in Reliance Industry 100 shares, that is investment in equity instruments. That is not associate. And investment in subsidiary means investment having control over the other organization, greater than 50% shares of other organization, then it is called subsidiary. No issue. Current assets, inventory, trade receivable, other current assets, cash and cash equivalents. When we prepare US GAAP accounting, just for knowledge purpose, no use in exam, the balance sheet presentation is just reverse. They first write current assets, then non-current. And in the current assets, first of all, cash and cash equivalent. That is, the US GAAP prepare the balance sheet based on liquidity. Highly liquid, less liquid, less liquid, less liquid. But IFRS prepared just inverse. Indian accounting prepare just inverse. Illiquid and then liquid. Okay. Then comes in the liability side. In the liability side, there are two liabilities: shareholder money, outsider money. Shareholder money is share capital, retained earning, reserves, or whatever. Outsider money is divided into two parts. Outsider money payable within 1 year, payable beyond 1 year. Beyond 1 year non-current, and payable within 1 year current. But here it is one thing more written: non-current controlling interest. This will under equity. This will be coming when you will be preparing consolidated financial statement. Parent subsidiary group financial statement, when we are preparing, then this non-controlling will be coming. Just for understanding, Saraf Academy has purchased or invested in 80% shares of other company. One company is there, Saraf Academy purchased 80% shares of that company. And the balance 20% shares are there with Kamal Kanta. So Saraf Academy will be controlling the business of that other company because I have controlling stake. But Kamal Kanta is also the shareholder. He don't have control. He is a non-controlling shareholder. Maybe not Kamal Kanta, you all are having 20% shares of the company in total. So you all are non-controlling. How this value will be calculated and all that, that we will discuss later. But this is called the non-controlling interest that comes under consolidated financial statements. This is a part of equity only. This is not a part of liability. Shareholders are the owners of the business. So they are the owners. But these are the major owners, 80%, and these are the 20% owners. These are shareholders' money. Non-controlling, non-current liability, payable beyond 1 year. And current liability, all those payable within 1 year. That is called total liabilities. The total liability will be equal to total assets. In practical life, we need to prepare current year and previous year both. Current year and the previous year for comparison purpose. In Indian accounting, US GAAP, IFRS, I think any accounting of the world, that whenever we prepare financial statements, statement of financial position should be giving current year figure, last year figure, comparison. Because we analyze financials comparison to decide what decision. Whether I should remain invested in the company, whether I should invest in the company, whether I should supply goods to the company, whether I should give loan to the company, whether I should be purchasing goods from the company, whether I should become customer of the company. Because if the comparatives are not given, the users of the financial statement cannot be able to take informed decisions. If they want to take informed decisions, then they need to be given at least 1 year comparative figures. सबके ऊपर प्रॉपर्टी, हर एक आइटम के ऊपर अलग से IAS, IFRS है. We will be studying. They are writing सबके ऊपर. My focus is only just to memorize. If somebody don't have knowledge of format, format का ध्यान रखना जरूरी. Otherwise, we will not be able to start studying anything. Then comes Format of income statement. Statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income. There is a big confusion in most of the persons in the world. What is other comprehensive income? I am not in a position to explain other comprehensive income fully today, because that incorporates many topics, non-current, investments, financial instruments, so many topics are related. But in basics, I will be telling. Statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income. It is not only PL. It is profit or loss and other comprehensive income. It is not as on. It is for the year. It is for the period. Generally, 1 year is the period, accounting period. So for the year ended this. Revenue, cost of goods sold, gross profit, revenue minus cost of goods sold, other income, distribution expenses, administration expenses, other expenses, finance cost, interest cost, share of profit from associate. We have invested in other company, we got dividend, we got share of profit, profit before tax, then profit for after tax from the continuing business, loss or profit from the discontinuing business, total profit for the year. Then other comprehensive income. Under other comprehensive income written items that will not be reclassified to PL. Gains on property valuation, investment in equity instrument, remeasurement gain or loss, share on gain or loss on property revaluation, income tax, items that may be reclassified subsequently to PL, exchange difference on translating foreign operations, cash flow hedges, income tax relating to items that may be reclassified, other comprehensive income, total comprehensive income. एक बार फिर से आते. If I am preparing Saraf Academy income statement, Saraf Academy statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income. My revenue will be tuition fees, which you all have given, which students are giving. What will be my cost of sale? What will be my cost of sale? If I am talking about Saraf Academy, revenue is tuition fees, tuition training classes fees. What will be my cost of sales?
Material and IT software.
What is material? Material means you want to say this material which I am using in the class.
This might be this PDF and the software and your laptop. This kind of will be your cost.
समझ लो. लैपटॉप वगैरह मैंने अभी बोला था नॉन करेंट एसेट्स. लैपटॉप का डेप्रिसिएशन हो सकता है, कंप्यूटर का डेप्रिसिएशन हो सकता है, फिर तो फिक्स्ड एसेट्स नॉन करेंट और करेंट एसेट्स में कोई डिफरेंस ही नहीं रह जाएगा यार. रंजन जी. यस सुमन.
Staff expenses like labor expenses, rent, electricity.
I will say that you forget about my business. You all consider your business where you are working. You all, most of you are working. किसी का कुछ बिजनेस है, किसी का कुछ है. मैं यहां पर ये बोलना चाह रहा हूं कि एक्सपेंडिचर्स आर डिवाइडेड इनटू 3 कैटेगरीज: कॉस्ट ऑफ सेल, डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन, सेलिंग एंड डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन, एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन. Cost of sale, selling and distribution, administration. You deduct from revenue cost of sale to get gross profit. You deduct from gross profit distribution, administration to get net income. But all are expenditures. But cost of sale क्या बोलेंगे?
Sir, one thing that I can say, first of all, the tuitions is a service industry. So
Okay.
cost profit majorly should not be there.
Majorly should not be there. But I can show you more.
As per my experience, I didn't see.
Yeah.
But if I go with the cost of sales, considering that, then I should give your time. That is your main salary. Because you
But my salary, that is director remuneration, but because I am director in Saraf Academy.
But otherwise, in this case, I do not found any other cost. All the staff salary and everything related to administrative expenses and other expenses.
I will say that the person who is giving you the software, who is giving you the material, who is counseling you, then in that case, those are cost of sale. But if there is somebody for admin purpose, somebody doing accounting job, then in that case, that is administration. And if I will say distribution, in my case, selling and distribution, if I am doing suppose social media marketing, I am doing Facebook marketing, Google marketing, then in that case, they can be coming as selling and distribution. So in my case, it is difficult because it's a service industry. But then still we can bifurcate cost of sale, distribution and administration. Now in my case, I am the tutor. Okay. but I am also the director of the company. So in my case, director remuneration we cannot include under cost of sale, because normally the accounting says that maybe the director are managing the business, but the director part is administration expense. If I am not the director, suppose I am hiring you as a faculty and I am paying you fees for taking the classes, then that is cost of sale, because you are taking the classes. But since I am the director remuneration is always administration expense. What I mean to say that, मेरा सबको यही बोलना है कि इतने सारे बिजनेस है वर्ल्ड में, there are so many businesses, trading, manufacturing, only trading, only service, this, that, so many things. हर जगह सोचना पड़ता है. We are getting in a question cost of sale given, writing that, writing gross profit and all that, बहुत मजा आता है. We find enjoyment. But practical life में आप कहीं पर जा रहे हो, कोई दूसरी कंपनी में इंटरव्यू में जा रहे हो, आपको अगर ऐसा क्वेश्चन पूछने लग जाएगा, आप क्या करोगे? आपको सोचना पड़ेगा ना. In exams, any exam, whether you take CIMA, whether you take CPA, whether you take ACCA, diploma, कहीं भी थोड़ी ना पूछ रहा है, कहीं नहीं पूछ रहा है. बट आप सोचिए कितना जरूरी है कि ये चीजों के बारे में सोचना. So it's not that we are reading the format. You need to go into deep of that. कि revenue generate करने के लिए, without that the revenue cannot be generated. That is prerequisite for revenue generation. That is cost of sale. और उसके अलावा सेलिंग, डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन एंड एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन विल बी कंसिडर्ड सेपरेटली. इफ अ कंपनी इज हैविंग डिलीवरी वैन एंड द डिलीवरी वैन इज यूज्ड फॉर डिलीवरिंग गुड्स एंड टू द कस्टमर्स, तो डिलीवरी वैन का डेप्रिसिएशन इज ए सेलिंग एंड डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन एक्सपेंस. बट इफ अ कंपनी परचेजिंग रॉ मटेरियल्स एंड द मटेरियल्स आर प्रोक्योर्ड फ्रॉम इन देयर ओन व्हीकल, तो रॉ मटेरियल जब तक आएगा नहीं, गुड्स बनेगा कैसे? सो द डेप्रिसिएशन ऑफ दैट व्हीकल विल बी कॉस्ट ऑफ सेल. We need to identify within cost of sale, administration and distribution the expenses. Not recently, I will say that around 3-4 years back, they used to give questions in diploma IFRS, expenditures ka breakup. You need to identify the expenditures in the correct heading. If you identify wrongly, marks will be deducted. But abhi recently, they are not asking questions like that. Usme सीधा सीधी cost of sale, distribution, administration are given. But at lower level, suppose financial reporting, or at lower level when I am teaching, we need to go into deep of this. And in the practical life, this is very important. अब ये जो other income, other expenses है, मान लीजिए, if Saraf Academy invested in the shares of Reliance, getting dividend, did fixed deposit, getting interest income, other expenses जो normal revenue, normal recurring type नहीं है, non-recurring, loss by theft, loss by fire, anything, वैसा हो सकता है. Other income not necessarily will be there. But then if those things are there, they will be written. Then finance cost, if I have taken loan, on the loan I am paying interest, interest is a finance cost. Then share a profit from associate, if there is an associate, I have a significant influence on the other company, I am getting dividend, the share of profit. How can we write share of profit? If suppose Reliance Industry is earning profit, but they are not giving any dividend, can I record any income in my books? I have 50 shares of Reliance. Reliance Industry is not giving any dividend, but they have generated income. Can I record my 50 shares income as my income? I can't. जब dividend मिलेगा, then only I can record. But in case of associate, even though the dividend is not paid, we record our share of income. How? We will discuss later. That's a totally IS 23 separate IS 28, sorry. Then the profit before tax. From the profit before tax, we deduct income tax expense, we get profit from continuing business. Continuing business, suppose I am teaching ACCA, CIMA, CPA, CFA, IFRS and all that. Okay. Suppose I am stopping one of the course. For that course, should I write here? No. Again, there is a separate IFRS, IS 24. That is, IFRS 5, assets held for sale and discontinued operations. What is discontinued operation? That operation should be totally separate. Their assets, their liability, their income, total. If Reliance Industry is closing their IT business, not closing, I'm just saying, because for the IT, for Reliance Jio, there is totally separate stories there. Then in that case, it is coming. Why it is writing loss? Why not it can be gain? You will stop a business only when the loss will be there. When the gains are there, why you will stop the business? You will not stop. You will continue the business. So loss from discontinued operations are not covered here. There is no revenue. Any item of discontinued operations are not written here. They are written in one single item here. And the breakup will be given to notes to accounts. cost of sale breakup, other expenses breakup, administration. You will find in practical life one column schedule. Schedule 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if you go in the schedule, you will be able to find out the breakup of cost of sale and all that, which is also compulsory in practical life. But in exam, how much they will ask? Prepare PL also, balance sheet also, schedule also. Then you can't compare in 30, 40 minutes. Even in exam, they are asking only PL, only balance sheet. They are not asking PL, balance sheet, both, never. Then comes other comprehensive income. Suppose this is a computer or this is a property where I am taking the class. This property I purchased 10 years back for 1 crore. And suppose the property value now 3 crore. I am not selling the property because where I will take the training classes. But the property value 1 crore to 3 crore, 2 crore gain. Can I record that 2 crore gain in the books? Earlier not. But when the IFRS and Ind AS and all that arises, yes. That is called revaluation gain. If I will record that revaluation gain 2 crore in PL account, profit will be 2 crore more. Can I distribute out of that dividend? Can I distribute to the shareholder dividend? I can't. Because that is not in the pocket that I can use this money 2 crore for meeting my expenditures and all that. But the company has generated this income. The company, by holding these assets for 10 years, 12 years, the value gone up. The company has generated this income. That is a part of other comprehensive income. Other comprehensive income is a part of PL account because statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income. But other comprehensive income are those portions which are, for the time being, I can see non-realized gain. Non-realized gain or losses. They are not part of realized income, they are part of non-realized. But I am saying wrong. It is not non-realized. It is something else. But for the timing understanding, non-realized gain or losses is other comprehensive income. They are divided into 2 parts. Item that will be reclassified to PL. Item that will never be reclassified to PL. Item that may be reclassified. That will never be reclassified. We are saying that. Now it is very difficult to explain now. Suppose I have a foreign subsidiary. Suppose I have a foreign subsidiary, foreign operations, foreign branch. In foreign, when the assets are there, land, building or anything, they are in the foreign country. I am recording those assets in India, in INR. Suppose I have a branch in US. I have a branch in US and in the US there is a land valued $1 lakh. I am recording in India, $1 lakh converted into INR, say 75 per dollar. So 75 lakh. But next year, maybe the value is 1 lakh, but the currency rate will change. 1 lakh becomes, say, 1 lakh into 76. Now presently, $1 is around 77, 78. The rupee is depreciated and the dollar has appreciated. So currently, the value will be 77 lakh, 78 lakh. The 2 lakh gain. That 2 lakh gain is also not realized because I am not selling my assets in US. The assets are still there, but I will be writing here. That is what? Other items that may be reclassified. Reclassified means maybe sometimes in future I will be selling that asset, I will be disposing the branch or anything, then this non-realized gain becomes a realized gain. Then it will be transferred to PL account. Relating to cash flow hedge, I am not giving any example now because we need to study financial instruments, IS 38, IFRS 9 and 7, then only I can give examples on cash flow. But there are some items which will be later on taken to PL account. And there are some items which will never be taken to PL account in life. They may never be taken to PL account. They are called items not reclassified to PL. There are many in different topics, different items will be coming. But the whole heading is other comprehensive income. If anybody, since there are many students in our class, do you remember profit and loss appropriation account? PL appropriation account. Anybody remembers? I will say that around those who studied account since more than 10 years. Arun ji, आपने सुना है क्या होता था PL appropriation? What was that? नहीं सर, प्रोविजन और रिजर्व अलग चीज है. If you say yes, बोलिए.
After preparing the partnership account or something like that, from profit we attribute the P&L appropriation, that where they are going to distribute profit, exact profit we used to.
Then to you were saying only in case of partnership. So you want to say that PL appropriation was not there in company.
Sir, it was prepared on a particular date or like in the mid of the financial year.
नहीं सर, हम लोग वर्ड पे नहीं जा रहे हैं. प्रॉफिट एप्रोप्रिएशन, प्रॉफिट को बांटना, प्रॉफिट में से डिविडेंड देना इज नॉट एन एक्सपेंस. प्रॉफिट में से कुछ अमाउंट कोई रिजर्व में ट्रांसफर करना, जनरल रिजर्व, दिस रिजर्व, दैट वाज पीएल एप्रोप्रिएशन. ओके, अर्लियर वी यूज्ड टू हैव revaluation reserve. We are revaluing our assets, we are transferring some income to revaluation reserve. अभी जब से IFRS, Ind AS ये सब आया है, पीएल एप्रोप्रिएशन होता नहीं है. और देयर इज नो पीएल एप्रोप्रिएशन इन प्रैक्टिकल वर्ल्ड सिंस लास्ट 10 years. मैंने 10 साल से पीएल एप्रोप्रिएशन किसी को नहीं पढ़ाया है. पार्टनरशिप में होता होएगा अभी भी, मैं नहीं बोल रहा, बट नॉर्मली पीएल एप्रोप्रिएशन स्टोरी गॉन. वेयर वी आर शोइंग डिविडेंड पेमेंट, दिस इज अ कंपनी पीएल अकाउंट वेयर वी आर शोइंग डिविडेंड पेमेंट टू शेयर होल्डर्स. डिविडेंड पेमेंट हम लोग शेयर होल्डर को अगर कर रहे हैं, कहां दिखा रहे हैं? वेयर वी विल शो इन पीएल अकाउंट. डिविडेंड पेमेंट इज नॉट एन एक्सपेंस, इट इज एन एप्रोप्रिएशन ऑफ प्रॉफिट्स. तो अभी एप्रोप्रिएशन ऑफ प्रॉफिट्स वगैरह के लिए वी आर प्रिपेयरिंग अ सेपरेट थिंग कॉल्ड स्टेटमेंट ऑफ चेंजेस इन इक्विटी. And you can see that some part of this other comprehensive income is also appropriation. आप प्रॉफिट में से कुछ यहां ट्रांसफर कर रहे हो, ये कर रहे हो, वो कर रहे हो, दिस इज एप्रोप्रिएशन. मैं ये एप्रोप्रिएशन 100% नहीं बोलूंगा. आई विल से एप्रोप्रिएशन मीन्स स्टेटमेंट ऑफ चेंजेस इन इक्विटी. अर्लियर व्हेन वी यूज्ड टू प्रिपेयर बैलेंस शीट, बैलेंस शीट में जनरल रिजर्व, रिटेन्ड अर्निंग आया, कहां से आया पता नहीं है. बट नाउ अ डेज सिंस लास्ट 10 to 12 years व्हेन Ind AS, IFRS, यूएस गैप, ये सब कुछ आया है. मैं नहीं बोल रहा यूएस गैप पहले से नहीं है. तो देयर इज नो पीएल एप्रोप्रिएशन स्टोरी. वी ऑल रिक्वायर्ड टू प्रिपेयर स्टेटमेंट ऑफ चेंजेस इन इक्विटी. स्टेटमेंट ऑफ चेंजेस इन इक्विटी. Here a statement of changes in equity. मतलब in the balance sheet when you were writing the item, in the balance sheet when you were writing the item under equity, you were writing under equity, liability side equity, share capital, retained earning, investment in equity instruments, revaluation, surplus, this, that and all. All these you will need to show the breakup in a separate statement called statement of changes in equity. There in Ind AS, there in IFRS, there in US GAAP, सब जगह है. कहीं पर भी नहीं है जहां नहीं है. Everywhere this statement of changes in equity is a separate statement. All window dressing, प्रॉफिट को बढ़ाना, घटाना, anything is rooted through profit. वो यहां पे सब समझ में आ जाएगा. If the retained earnings are increasing, why? Because of the profit during the years, because of the dividend payment, whether the company issue new shares, whether the shares are issued at premium, is there any revaluation, any reserves, any equity part you need to show here, you are bound to show. एक separate statement में. And then these final figures will be coming in the balance sheet under equity. Under equity, share capital 6,50,000, retained earning 243, whatever revaluation reserve जो भी है सब 1 by 1. So equity portion in the balance sheet 968, 950 total. But the breakup of equity in the balance sheet is this. So earlier for this we used to prepare PL appropriation. अब वो बंद हो गया. अब मतलब अभी नहीं, 10-12 सालों से. Every organization need to show this. आपको यहां से सब घपला समझ में आ जाएगा. If the company is doing anything window dressing, you will be able to understand by looking here. Bonus share, buyback of shares, anything. This is what? This is not income or expense. Other than profit जो हुआ, retained earning में we are adding. Other than that, यहाँ कोई भी income expense नहीं है. All these are direct adjustments in equity. Share issue, share buyback, loan taken, dividend payment. This is shareholder से पैसे लेना और giving them the money is not a part of income statement or balance sheet. That is a part of a statement of changes in equity. This arises, I don't remember the year, but जब से IFRS, Ind AS, all these things developed, then उस समय से statement of changes in equity. मैं जब CA final, when I gave the exam for CA final in 1998, at that time I prepared PL appropriation only. किस साल से ये सब चेंज हुआ मेरे को ये ध्यान नहीं है, but nowadays statement of changes in equity is the thing for PL appropriation. And one more thing, statement of cash flow वो यहां नहीं होएगा, दूसरे में है. Statement of cash flow is not required for Saraf Academy. It is only required for listed company, or it is only required for those companies whose capital or turnover beyond a limit. Normally you can say listed company. Then they need to prepare cash flow statement. What is cash flow statement? In the profit, in the PL account, if the profit is, PL account mein profit is 121,250. Can we say cash balance is 121,250? No. Because in the PL account we are writing so many items which we have not realized in cash. Revenue, credit sale, cost of sale, credit purchases, depreciation, amortization, so many things are there. Even though your business is under loss, suppose this 20,000 loss, you can continue your business if you have money. If you have cash, you can continue your business. But you can't continue your business if the profit is there but the cash is not there. Cash is the lifeblood of any business. For meeting day-to-day expenditures, for making payment of liabilities, for fulfilling long-term obligations, we regularly need to have the cash inflows coming in the business. So whether the company, whether the organization is regularly getting cash flows or not, that is called a statement of cash flow. That is required in those companies where public is interested, listed companies. इंडिया का मान लीजिए मेरे सराफ गुरुकुल में हमने कभी कैश फ्लो नहीं बनाया, बिकॉज जरूरत नहीं है. लेकिन क्या प्रैक्टिकल पर्पस के लिए नहीं बनाते? क्या नहीं लिखते कितनी फीस आई है, कहां खर्चा हुआ, कितना पैसा बचा है, वेयर आई नीड टू यूज एंड ऑल दैट? क्या नहीं बनाते? प्रैक्टिकल पर्पस के लिए तो बनाते ही हैं. बट एज फार एज लीगल रिक्वायरमेंट वी आर नॉट प्रिपेयरिंग कैश फ्लो स्टेटमेंट. द कैश फ्लो स्टेटमेंट इज रिक्वायर्ड ओनली फॉर लिस्टेड कंपनीज. और उसके बाद लास्ट चीज नोट्स टू अकाउंट्स, बिकॉज knowledgeable persons will not see revenue, will see the notes to revenue, how the revenue has gone up, this, that. There are so many notes and disclosures. So maybe the objective of accounting body, international accounting standard board and everybody, उनका objective क्या है कि account सबको समझ में आए, लेकिन सबको समझ में नहीं आ सकता. It is not something which can be understood by everybody. Normal basic sale purchase देखना, that's other thing. But going into deep of accounting is not possible other than a highly sound, technical, knowledgeable person. उसके बगैर समझ में नहीं आ सकता. Because the financial statement of Reliance, ITC, किसी भी कंपनी का is around 100 pages. एक पेज में PL, एक पेज में बैलेंस शीट, एक पेज में कैश फ्लो स्टेटमेंट ऑफ चेंज, नोट्स टू अकाउंट्स, पेजेस टू पेजेस. And a knowledgeable person will always go look for notes to accounts as compared to just the figures. Why it has gone up, gone down. तो थोड़ा सा ये ध्यान रखना है कि एक बार फॉर्मेट ये है. The way we will be completing the syllabus topic one by one. Regularly I will be speaking about format of the financial statement. One second. Statement of changes in equity. Notes to accounts. They are writing. Why the notes to accounts you will be able to understand when we will be completing different topics. Before that नहीं समझ में आ सकता. My objective is not to complete this because this will be completing every day. But if we don't have basic knowledge, assets, liability क्या है, तो समझ में नहीं आता कुछ भी. We will not be able to understand anything. Now, we have international accounting standards around 29. And we have IFRS up till 16. 29 plus 16, 45 accounting rules we are going to study. Why the difference between IAS and IFRS? Up till 2000, the International Accounting Standard Board, who has taken the responsibility to publish the norms of accounting for the whole world, common accounting language, common accounting norms, they were publishing international accounting standards. In 2000, restructuring took place and they started publishing IFRS, International Financial Reporting Standards. But they said that till the time for everything IFRS is not there, IAS will be used as IFRS. So there were many IAS which are stopped, like leasing. There was IAS 17. But around 2-3 years back when IFRS 16 leasing came, IAS 17 gone. There was a research and development IAS अभी भी है, but in India there are changes. I mean to say that धीरे धीरे करके IAS will finish. But as on today, still 29 IAS are relevant. And as on today, up till June exam, IFRS 16 तक relevant है. But in December exam, IFRS 17, 18, 19 all are coming. You will say क्या होएगा? टेंशन मत लीजिए, मैं वो क्लास जब नेक्स्ट बैच में कराऊंगा उसको YouTube में अपलोड कर दूंगा फ्री में, अब देख लीजिएगा वहां से. लेकिन 17, 18, 19 के बाद और भी कुछ आएगा, बंद नहीं होएगा. It is a never ending process. So I'm just saying that it's a thing which will go on changing. But for the time being, as on up till June exam, we need to study 29 IAS and 16 IFRS. This IAS, IFRS, how they have been made? कैसे बना? How the accounting standard board think about that, कि they need to have an IAS, they need to have an IFRS on this. How leasing accounting standard change कैसे बना? First of all, the body developed a framework. International Accounting Standard Board developed the conceptual framework. Conceptual framework, which is the part of the syllabus, the first topic. This conceptual framework, I will say that for CIMA case study and for ACCA diploma IFRS, not so much important. But for knowledge purpose, it is very important. There are some important things which you should be knowing. Conceptual framework. If we say Quran, if we say Gita, if we say anything, Indian constitutions and so many things, हर चीज का एक बाउंड्री होता है. There is a boundary within which we need to play. In a cricket match, in a football match, there is a boundary. This conceptual framework is a boundary. That boundary is saying that the financial statement of a company includes balance sheet, PL account, notes to accounts, cash flow, statement of changes in equity. उसके अंदर आता क्या है? In the balance sheet, we record assets and liability. In the PL account, we record income and expenditures. In a statement of changes in equity, we record changes in equity. In cash flow, we record cash flows. And in notes to accounts, all other things. The boundary is decided based on definition of assets, definition of liability, definition of income, definition of expenditures, definition of equity, and all these things were explained. What is the purpose of this financial statement or this boundary? Any organization in the world, in India or abroad, we will be able to analyze the health of the financials of the organization based on their financial statement. So the financial statement should be able to give true and fair view of the company's operations. The financial statement not only balance sheet. Financial statement includes a statement of financial position, balance sheet, a statement of profit or loss, other comprehensive income, PL account, a statement of changes in equity, a statement of cash flow, notes to account. सारी चीजें आती हैं. These financial statement the users are using for taking informed decisions. So if the conceptual framework is not broadened, if the financial statements are not prepared properly, how the users will be taking informed decisions? How an investor will decide whether they should invest in the company or not? How a supplier will decide whether they should supply goods and services to an organization or not? So this financial statement need to be prepared by following a particular guidelines. अब वो इतनी सारी guidelines है that cannot be covered just by a general write-up of framework. So they decided that they need to publish for separate things, separate rules. IAS 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then after 2000 IFRS 1, IFRS 2, 3, 4, 5 and so on. So as on today, 45 are relevant और future में और भी आते रहेंगे. There are many changes happening in many IAS, IFRS regularly. When you go into the definition of an asset or a liability as per conceptual framework, maybe a particular accounting standard saying different thing. Like suppose, accounting money conceptual framework says that you will be recording an asset in the balance sheet as an asset when you have the ownership. When you have the, I will say that this computer I am the owner because the bill is in the name of Saraf Academy. I made the payment from my bank account. I have the invoice. I can say I am the owner. But if I have taken the asset on rental basis, I have taken this place on rental basis, can I record the asset in the balance sheet if I am not the owner? If you go in the conceptual framework, it is not saying that you need to be the owner. It is saying that you should have the right to use the asset. What is right to use the asset? I can use for ACCA batch, I can use for CIMA batch, I can do for accounting work, anything, right to use. Control, where I will be using, how much time I will be using, control. If I have the right to use, I have the control to use, and I'm going to other person, the rent, the lease rent, whatever, still it is an asset to be recorded in the books, even though I don't have the ownership. Because the accounting background, conceptual framework does not say that the assets need to be having the ownership. If you have a control over the asset, if you have the right to use the asset, if it is going to give you future economic benefit, that will be classified as an asset. There are many places where you will find that whatever said in the conceptual framework or boundary, but in the IFRS something differently said. Suppose IS 37, provisions. Provisions, we are saying that we will be recording in the PL account, balance sheet, when there are certain criteria fulfilled. If there are certain criteria not fulfilled, it will not be recorded, it will be shown in notes to accounts and all that. Generally, the conceptual framework says something else. That if there is no probability, you can't do this, that, but the IS something saying that different thing. We need to understand that the conceptual framework says that if there are something contradictory thing written in IS, IFRS, the people need to follow what is written in IS, IFRS. But if something not written in the IS, IFRS, they will follow conceptual framework. When the accounting body will be releasing new IS, IFRS, they will be following conceptual framework. Like cryptocurrency. For cryptocurrency, investment, trading, this, that, nothing, there is no IS, IFRS. For cryptocurrency, there is no IS, IFRS. For cryptocurrency, there is no framework written also properly. अब आप क्या करोगे? कुछ है ही नहीं, आप accounting बताओगे कैसे? How you will say that investment in cryptocurrency, Bitcoin and all that will be accounted for? Whether it's a fixed assets, whether it's a current assets, what value we will record and all that. You need to follow conceptual framework. You need to see that whether it is satisfying the definition of an asset. You need to see that whether, if it is satisfying the definition of asset, then whether it is current or non-current. If it is current, whether it should be recorded at cost or whether it should be recorded at fair value. If it is fair value, how the fair value will be determined, how the disclosure should be given. आपको conceptual framework follow करना है. So conceptual framework is Bible of accounts. When you are not getting how to record this transaction in the books, journal, assets, liability, anything, then you follow conceptual framework. When the accounting body of the world, IASB, International Accounting Standard Board, develop any new IS, IFRS, they think about conceptual framework. But if the accounting standard states something differently, which is, you can say, slightly contradictory as compared to conceptual framework, then the IS, IFRS rule will prevail, not the conceptual framework. Many persons will say that फिर conceptual framework का जरूरत क्या है? Cryptocurrency accounting, अगर conceptual framework is not there, you can't account for. You will not be able to account for. But while correlating the definition of assets, liability, income, expenditure, as per conceptual framework, we will be able to record any transaction. पहले derivative accounting, there are so many financial instrument accounting not there. We used to follow conceptual framework to record those transactions in books. Still there are many things for which accounting concepts are not developed. We are following conceptual framework. You think, in any organization, most important asset is human beings. But are we recording human beings as an asset in the balance sheet? If somebody want to record human beings as an asset, what is the accounting treatment? Conceptual framework. There is no IS, IFRS. If as per the conceptual framework we can satisfy that it fulfills the conceptual framework, the treatment will be followed. If we are under any confusion, we follow the conceptual framework. Again, the conceptual framework is something which we will be able to understand when we will be doing one by one topic. But the conceptual framework for SBR student is a must reading. For ACCA, DIP IFRS, for CIMA, FLP or CIMA case study, ignore conceptual framework. But ACCA, when a strategic business reporting exam, 20% questions, there is no accounting rules developed for that. You need to write the answer based on conceptual framework only. And there is some technical write-up in this. I will be discussing this again, but I'm just saying that student need to cover this. This conceptual framework developed 3 times. One in 1989, then again in 2004, then again in 2010 and 18 again, 4 times. 4 बार बन चुका है. When 1989 it was developed with not a proper motive, then it was decided that FASB, Financial Accounting Standard Board of US, and IASB, both will make conceptual framework for their own. They developed, they introduced in 2004 and all that, but many persons criticized that conceptual framework. This is not covered, this is incomplete, this, that. Then in 2010, IFRS said that we will be developing conceptual framework separately. Then they developed a new conceptual framework in 2018. It was developed in 2015 only, but it was for public domain discussion and all that. And then in 2018, it became applicable. Abhi jaise IFRS 6, 17, 18, 19 are already there, but they are going to come in the public domain for the time being. They are for review purpose. They will be coming in the public domain applicable after 3-4 months. Then in that case, they will become part of the syllabus. But presently, you can do Google search 17, 18, 19 fully developed. I mean to say that these conceptual framework are a basis for bringing new IAS, IFRS, for making changes in the existing IAS, IFRS, for a preparer of accounts. If you are preparing Saraf Academy accounts or any organization accounts, and you are under confusion, what is written in IAS, IFRS, you can use conceptual framework for accounting purpose. So it is a Bible, and the basic purpose of conceptual framework is to give users the understanding so that they can take informed decisions. So conceptual framework says that what is the qualities of financial statement, fundamental qualities, enhancing qualities, what is the limitations of the financial statement, which need to be covered in the conceptual framework. Non-financial money, you can see non-financial transactions, death of a owner, sustainability, environment accounting, those are all included under conceptual framework at next level. So accounting is going to see change in coming 4-5 years. Not only whatever we are doing, but continuously. You need to upgrade yourself in accounting matters, all the things, if you are studying this subject. Agar lower level ka subject padhte baat alag hai. But we are studying whatever the topmost accounting there in this subject in coming 2.5 months, 3 months. You need to be very much reading all the things, making your notes, which is very essential. I'm not saying anything else here. I will just say that all of you, if homework, please prepare format of financial statement in Excel without any figures. Just that you will be writing non-current, property, plant and equipment, goodwill, intangible assets, available for sale, investment and all that. You need to prepare. Otherwise, you will not be feeling confident in the subsequent classes. Not only balance sheet, PL account, statement, just without figures. You just make a format for your own purpose. First of all, read once where the format is given, then make a format. Second, read the conceptual framework. Single time reading. When you will read, you will find that आपको आधा से ज़्यादा कुछ नहीं समझ में आ रहा है. You are reading, you are thinking, you are reading in English, you are not getting anything. I want that you will be reading. I want that maybe you are not understanding, you will read. Once we will be completing subsequent classes, then automatically you will be able to understand. I will be regularly going into this format and conceptual framework in every class, because it cannot be completed in one class unless and until the knowledge is not there. This conceptual framework you will be doing from Kaplan, SBR, study text, and this you will be doing either whatever book Google से भी कर सकते हैं, BPP, DIP IFRS, study text, BPP IFRS study text. So you will be doing this study Again, I am saying for CIMA, FLP or CIMA, management case study or ACCA, diploma, IFRS, not so important area. But if you don't understand this, you will not be getting confidence in accounting area. So don't think about exam, आप इसको read करेंगे. Conceptual framework 10-12 pages है, ऐसे reading. Don't think you are getting or not getting. बस concept से when you have 1 hour, switch off your mobile phone, read the conceptual framework, and in 1 hour, half an hour, complete the format of financial statement. PL account, balance sheet, statement of changes in equity without figures. At least that much is required before the next class so that I can proceed in the next class. So we will be doing further studying. This today I have not taught anything because you see that I have written non-current assets. Where I taught? Nothing. I am to just giving a brief introduction about the syllabus planning and basic introduction about format and framework. This format and framework will be covered in all 2025 classes continuously. But before the next class, if everybody do this, at least you are following my instructions. Okay? Next class is on Wednesday. For live class, you will be getting the link before 1 day of the class. Monday class on Sunday and Wednesday class on Tuesday, you will get the live class link. For live class, no software, nothing, just internet connection. You join. Okay? So leaving for today. Thank you to all of you. Study hard. Thank you all of you. Take care.